Last night, the Thunder hosted the Spurs, and it was a surprisingly close game, considering the Spurs rested LaMarcus Aldridge, Tony Parker, Rudy Gay, and Manu Ginobili, didn't have Kawhi Leonard, and only played Patty Mills one half. So let's look at some of the plays that caught my eye to figure out how the Spurs were so competitive and what the Thunder did to allow the Spurs bench to hurt them so much. It's well known that Andre Robertson hurts the Thunder's offense because he is so limited as a threat with the ball. However, he's been able to balance that out with well-timed cuts and good passes from his teammates. When the Spurs stop this zipper fist action cold, it leaves Russ isolating out top. Brandon Paul has no respect for Robertson and is free to leave him to shadow Russ. A nice cut into the open area of the lane gets him taking off with a nice finger roll. Donovan likes to put Robertson one pass away from the pick and roll to invite his man to bump down on the roll man. Again, Patty Mills doesn't care if they throw it to Robertson, and when it's reversed, he'll sag into the lane to clog everything up. However, Robertson attacks on the catch to get right into the lane for another short finish. The Melo Adams pick and roll hurt the Spurs, particularly because Pau is so immobile. Kyle Anderson deserves his slow-mo nickname since it shouldn't take him that long to sprint back to defend the pocket pass. Credit Melo for slipping it in there and Adams with a nice hammer. The Thunder don't run much motion at all, preferring to go straight high pick and roll. Green forces Russ to his strong hand, but Mills was hedging high on the other side, giving Russ a straight line drive. Pau is the last line of defense and correctly steps up, just a gorgeous pass by Russ early to slip it right by Pau's foot for the reverse layup. Adams doesn't get used enough in their offense, and it's too bad. He's mobile and has good hands. Watch how he slips the ball screen early, dives to the hoop, and a nifty pass from Paul George gets them the dunk. At the end of the first, the Thunder run a play they score on at least once a game. A simple high pick and roll out top with the weak side corner backdooring to the hoop for the lob. Right on the money, and Hustis is cashing in. The Thunder had trouble sustaining their good team basketball for the whole game. Here, Russ isos in the post and ends up with a weird jab step, Dirk leg, kick out, fadeaway that gets nowhere near the inside of the hoop. Melo gets it back, but the Spurs are scrappy, don't ever give up, and strip it when he brings it down below his waist. If you're wondering why I'm so adamant about not allowing middle penetration, here's a big reason why. DeJounte Murray gets to the dotted line with his tough floater, but look how much leeway he has when it hits the front of the rim, then the backboard, then drops in. This roll never happens if you shoot it from the wings or the corner. Little things on defense lead to wins, and Russ doesn't really do many of them. Grant allows a straight line drive, Russ is caught ball watching, and when the layup is missed, his man keeps it alive until the Spurs put it back in to cut the lead to 7. In transition, Bertans is Westbrook's man, but he does not realize it until it's too late, and Bertans nails the open corner 3. Let's go to the fourth, where the game got really tight despite all the best players the Spurs had sitting on the bench. The Thunder get great ball movement as they slowly collapse the defense, and Robertson tries to attack on the catch again, but it's usually a matter of time till he does something to turn it over, and this one was no exception. The Thunder were really struggling to make baskets, but they get another good offensive possession where the ball was moving. Paul George struggled the whole game, only making 2 of 17 shots, and here's another where he couldn't handle the vertical pressure. The offensive rebound gave them a good look from 3, but they were 6 for 22 from beyond the line and could not get it going. The Spurs run a simple pick and roll with Murray out top, and when Grant and George get their signals crossed, Murray gets into the lane. Russ was supposed to rotate from the weak side, but is walking around out there unaware. More three-point woes for the Thunder on this nice penetration and kick. Watch how Melo is getting a little frisky with Brandon Paul, but Felton can't hit the wide open 3. Russ slides in there with a rebound, but makes an ill-advised decision to shoot a lefty reverse with a good jumping big man on that side. Fantastic defense by the Spurs to deny passes and force the Thunder offense to eventually start near half court with only 5 seconds to go on the shot clock. However, the pick and roll defense again gets misaligned, and even though Felton was busy kicking the ball around, he was able to corral it and toss it in over the bigger Bertans. With Kyle Anderson also hurt at this point, it was only a matter of time till the Thunder went on a run to seize the game. Laverne tries to force a pass inside, Adams steals it and lets Russ do his one-man show in the open court at full speed. At this point, it seemed like the crowd was fired up, there was some separation, and the Thunder were going to take this game going away. On the Russ penetration, Berton should have been the one rotating to help. Instead, they get him and Murray, and that leaves Paul George with the hold my thumb up to the wind wide open shot. On the other end, we catch Russ not boxing out his man again. And let's be clear, hardly any point guard really boxes out, but his man Murray grabs the rebound, Berton gets the wide open three, and the Spurs are hanging around. But no matter, good double team of Melo, good cut by Robertson as Laverne is way too slow rotating over. But Melo misses Robertson cutting under the hoop, kicks it out to Russ. Now this shot is really hard. A double pump interrupt your rhythm three-pointer with feet split, but Russ hits this one and it seems like it's over. With a chance to nail the coffin shut, they run a nifty play to Adams in the high post, and Russ cuts back door. Perfect pass by Adams, but Russ lets it go out of bounds. So there's still life in these no-name Spurs. More nice action out of OKC's offense with a high post entry that gets Russ coming off a pin down into a handoff. But Russ gets it poked away for a bad turnover, then compounds the issue by not sprinting back on defense hard, and to make matters even worse, he simply doesn't pick up his man. Doesn't even know where he is, and Forbes gets a wide open three to cut the lead to 5. The Thunder come down and run a straight pick and roll out top. Russ barrels into the lane and tries an off-foot floater from 8 feet. The refs probably don't give him this call because he initiates the contact, and off of this miss, the Spurs break down the floor and get a layup to cut it to 3. All the good movement we saw earlier from the Thunder offense has disappeared as Russ controls the show and runs another pick and roll out top. They like to sprint Paul George to the top as Adams dives down. It gets them a good look, but another miss. After another stop, I just don't get this spacing. Russ stops in the corner by the half-court line, hands on his knees, essentially taking away a potential pass from Paul George, who goes to the hole hard, also initiates the contact to no call, then grabs his own air ball, which in the NBA is a traveling violation. The Spurs come down, spread the floor, and run pick and roll with Forbes. On the switch, Forbes gets to the bucket and, like Russ and PG before him, doesn't get the call. The Thunder are at home looking in good shape, up 3 with under a minute to go. They wind the clock down and ISO Russ out top. The whole defense is in prime position to stop this and get the rebound, and that's what happens. The Spurs run a pin down and almost get an open 3 when Melo jumps to the ball because he didn't see Robertson getting there at the same time. However, they both recover. The defense is in great position and forces the Berton air ball. This game should be over. They just need to get the ball inbounds, get fouled, make a free throw, and that's it. The Thunder also opt to put a player we can't see somewhere in the backcourt, which I always think is a mistake, and we'll find out why in a second. Russ takes a bad angle to the ball that has him catching the ball too close to the sideline and half-court line. He can't throw it to the guy in the backcourt now, and as the double team comes, he dribbles backwards. He's then forced to jump in the air, twist, and toss it up. Melo also screwed Russ by not cutting to him, and the Spurs have another chance to tie this up. Remember, a 2 does them no good, so why is Russ backing up here? Brandon Paul is a good three-point shooter, and he's giving it to him wide open. Luckily, the Thunder escape with the win, but considering how many players were out for the Spurs, there should be concern from Billy Donovan over how his big three are playing together. This is not the kind of way you can beat the best teams in the Western Conference. Stay tuned later this week for a more in-depth video on what the issues are overall for the Thunder, but I will say much of what we saw in this game is a microcosm for the whole season. Sports fans, to see more of our great NBA content and analysis, make sure to hit the subscribe button, but also click the bell and adjust your settings so you can get an alert the second our videos drop. Because trust me, you're going to want them hot and fresh. You in?